Hello everyone, my name is Patricia. I'm sure many of you here are blissfully united in marriage with your soulmates, fully trusting in their love and fidelity. I too held such beliefs firmly until the shocking moment my husband presented me with divorce papers. This came completely unexpectedly at a time when I thought we were finally going to enjoy the fruits of our long, hard struggles. For years, we scraped by on my single income while Gregory's business slowly got off the ground. Just as his business began to turn substantial profits, instead of settling down to enjoy our hard-earned stability, Gregory chose that moment to serve me with divorce papers. I was dumbfounded, barely able to believe what was happening. "This must be a joke, right? You can't be serious about this, Gregory," I said, hoping it was just a terrible prank. But there was no humor in his response. "Why would I joke about something this serious? I don't have time to waste on stupid jokes. I want a divorce." Stunned, I pressed for an explanation. "What happened all of a sudden, Gregory? Why do you want a divorce?" His response was cold and calculating. "Did you really think I'd remain tied down to a college dropout even after achieving success?" I was hurt. "Why does my dropping out of college matter to our marriage? You know I had to leave school because my parents passed away and I couldn't afford it. Besides, I supported you in your business when you needed it." His laughter was insulting, devoid of any warmth as he retorted, "What makes you think you supported my business? All you did was provide a roof over our heads until my business took off thanks to my skills. You don't have the acumen to manage or contribute to a business, which is why I need this divorce. Why are you being so cruel?" "Your business succeeded because of my support," I argued. "Yes, you helped a little, but it was my efforts that made it successful. Now, I don't need your financial support. I need someone who can elevate my social standing, someone impressive to my new business associates, and someone who can help propel my business even further. You are neither smart enough nor attractive enough to be that person for me. I've got everything I need to." It was a brutal blow, undermining everything we had built together. Gregory's words revealed a harsh truth about how little he valued my sacrifices and contributions. I was devastated by Gregory's decision to end our marriage. His words felt like a sharp stab in my throat. In my heart, I couldn't fathom how the person I love most could be so merciless. Now that his financial worries were over, he chose to leave me. At that point, my self-confidence was already shattered. I had noticed Gregory flirting with wealthy, influential women, but I had clung to the belief that he wouldn't betray me. However, he did exactly that. Discarded me after achieving success. I was in denial, unable to accept that he was leaving. Despite my heartbreak, I loved him deeply and desperately wanted to salvage our relationship. Every attempt to discuss our issues only resulted in more humiliation from Gregory. In a last-ditch effort, I turned to his father, Tyler, for help. Tyler, a man of strong principles, invited us to his home for a discussion. When Gregory arrived, Tyler confronted him. "What is this nonsense I'm hearing, Gregory? You're divorcing Patricia and claiming she isn't worthy of you? What's wrong with you?" Gregory responded defensively, "Dad, Patricia just isn't the right fit for me as a wife. She couldn't run my business if needed. I need a partner who matches my professional aspirations." "Are you serious, Gregory? What kind of flimsy excuse is that? Why do you think Patricia can't manage your business? She's an intelligent woman," Tyler argued. "Please, Dad. She doesn't even have a college degree. She's just a bank teller. She's not suited to be a businessman's wife," Gregory retorted. Hearing Gregory repeat those cruel words was heartbreaking. I couldn't hold back my tears. Anyone else might have walked away from such humiliation, but I wasn't strong enough. I was foolishly in love with Gregory. He was my first and only boyfriend. I didn't want our relationship to end, but I was faced with the painful reality of his indifference and disrespect. I was willing to do anything to win Gregory back, But as I wept, he just stood there emotionless, his face void of any sympathy. Meanwhile, Tyler, his father, struggled to maintain his composure. His voice trembled with anger as he spoke. "This is one of the most absurd things I've ever heard in my life. Gregory, if you think a college degree is the issue, you should be encouraging her to get one, not divorcing her because she doesn't have it. Think carefully before you make such a foolish decision." "My mind is made up, Dad," Gregory replied coldly. "I've already wasted too much of my youth on a woman who can't secure a decent job. I'm not spending another dime or second on Patricia. It's time for me to find someone who is truly fit to be a businessman's wife." Tyler sighed deeply, his disappointment palpable. "Son, I can't force you to do the right thing, but believe me, you are making a huge mistake. And when you realize it, don't expect me to bail you out." "You won't need to, Dad. I'm confident in my decision. There's no scenario where I'll regret this or need Patricia's help," Gregory declared confidently. As Gregory spoke those final words, my tears had stopped. The harsh reality hit me. Gregory would never want to stay married. He despised me and was eager to be free of our union. Even his father couldn't sway his decision. At that moment, I realized I didn't want him to change his mind either. I simply walked out alongside Tyler, who managed a small laugh amidst the tension. Tyler gave me a few days to process everything and strongly urged me to initiate the divorce. "It's for the best, Patricia," he insisted. As the initial shock wore off, the sting of Gregory's insults began to sear my soul. Yet instead of sinking deeper into sadness, I felt a growing anger, a fiery realization that perhaps this divorce was indeed the right move. But before I made any concrete decisions, I called Tyler to my place for one more conversation. When he arrived, I asked, "Tyler, you want me to go through with this divorce immediately, right?" "Yes, Patricia, that's exactly what I believe you should do." "But why, Tyler? Don't you want me to stay with your son? I thought you disagreed with his decision." "I do disagree with it. He's being foolish, and honestly, I think I failed somewhere in raising him. I never wanted him to leave you." Tyler's words, filled with regret and frustration, clarified the situation for me. It wasn't just about the lack of a college degree or not fitting into Gregory's vision of a successful businessman's wife. It was about respect, support, and love, none of which Gregory seemed capable of offering me anymore. Seeing his son's behavior towards me, Tyler encouraged me to pursue the divorce, declaring Gregory unworthy of me. His words were a shock. After years of feeling alone in the world, Tyler's support was like finding a guardian. It dawned on me that Tyler not only cared deeply but considered me like his daughter. His belief in me was overwhelming, bringing tears to my eyes. "Tyler, do you mean that? Do you not see me as a failure like your son does?" I asked, my voice choked with emotion. "Patricia, my son is acting foolishly. You are one of the most intelligent women I know. You are like a daughter to me, and that's why I want you to move on from my foolish son and prove how wrong he is," Tyler reassured me. I never envisioned my marriage ending in divorce. I had given Gregory my whole heart, but he failed to cherish it. Tyler's words resonated deeply. "Patricia, you shouldn't stay where you're not appreciated. You have more dignity than that. You can do far better than my son. Don't hold yourself back by opposing this divorce. There are better opportunities out there for you." After Tyler left, I reflected deeply on his advice. I realized I no longer wanted to be in a place where I wasn't valued. Though the thought of divorce was intimidating, it became clear that it was necessary. Another compelling reason for my decision was discovering that Gregory was already openly dating potential new partners, blatantly betraying our vows. Determined, I called Gregory and proposed a mutual divorce. On the day the divorce was finalized, Tyler stood by my side, his presence unnerving Gregory. After signing, Gregory couldn't resist a parting shot. "I'm glad you came to your senses and didn't contest the divorce. It would have been a waste of money. Not that you have much anyway." "You don't need to worry about my finances, Gregory. Worry about your own," I retorted. "I have a stable job, while your business faces uncertainties." "Oh, Patricia, don't stress your pretty little head about my business. I have the smarts to handle it, unlike you. Just worry about your finances." "Don't worry, Gregory, I am. Time will tell where we both end up. May your overconfidence not betray you," I replied, as I walked away from my old life with a new resolve. That day, as I left behind the life I once knew, I made a promise to myself to rebuild and flourish, free from the shadows of undervaluation and disrespect. After the divorce, I harbored thoughts of revenge, not out of spite, but as a declaration of my resilience. I wanted to prove to Gregory the magnitude of his mistake, but before I could, I had some personal milestones to achieve, starting with obtaining a college degree. You might wonder how I planned to afford college without any savings or alimony, especially since I had refused any financial support from Gregory. I didn't want his money, it felt tainted, and I couldn't bear the thought of owing him anything. Just when I felt stuck, Tyler stepped in unexpectedly. A few days before the divorce was finalized, he visited and discussed my future. "I see you're not taking alimony and not contesting the divorce," Tyler noted. "Yes, Tyler, I don't have the resources to engage in a prolonged court battle. It's simpler to just move on," I explained. "I respect your decision, Patricia. Still, you should have considered the alimony. Have you ever thought about going back to college?" he asked. I admitted, "I have, but I can't afford it. Maybe someday if I'm prepared to take on a huge loan." "Why take out a huge loan when you have me? Go ahead and apply to college. I'll cover your tuition," Tyler offered, his voice earnest. I was stunned by his generosity. This was a level of support I had never expected, not even from Gregory, who had the means but never the inclination to offer such help. Here was Tyler extending a life-changing opportunity to me. "Seriously, Tyler, you would do that for me? But why?" I managed to ask, my voice quivering with emotion. "I've been telling you for a while, Patricia. I see you as my daughter. I promised your father I would look after you, and I intend to keep that promise," Tyler explained. "I might not be as wealthy as my son, but I have enough to invest in your education." "But what about Gregory? He might not like this. He could see it as a betrayal," I said, worried about the potential fallout. "It wouldn't be as big a betrayal as he was. It's time he learned his lesson. Besides, this is my money, Patricia. He doesn't need to know or have a say in what I do with it," Tyler asserted with a firm nod. Empowered by Tyler's faith in me, I applied to college, fueled by a newfound determination to transform my life and one day show Gregory that he had underestimated me. This was not just about revenge, it was about reclaiming my life and my future. "Tyler, this is a lot to take in. I don't want you to have to sacrifice anything for me," I said, overwhelmed by his generosity. "It's no problem at all, Patricia. Think of it as an interest-free loan that you can pay back whenever you're able to. You have so much potential. Don't let it go to waste," Tyler reassured me. His offer was incredibly generous, a lifeline I desperately needed, but I was initially hesitant. My confidence had been shattered by Gregory's harsh dismissal, and the thought of potentially disappointing Tyler was daunting. As the divorce proceedings moved forward, I sought therapy and began to rebuild my self-esteem. I vowed not to let Tyler down and realized that accepting his help was not only a step towards my recovery, but also a testament to my resolve to improve myself. When the divorce was finalized, I decided to accept Tyler's offer, but with one condition. "Tyler, I accept your kindness, but I have one condition," I told him. "What is it, Patricia?" he asked, curious. I've promised myself to repay this money once I'm financially able. I'll accept your help on the condition that you agree to take the money back when I can return it. Tyler laughed softly. Oh God, you know I would never have taken the money back. You know me too well, Patricia. While I hate taking money from you and consider this a gift if it eases your mind, I promise I won't turn it down. Thank you, Tyler. I don't know how else to express my gratitude, I said, feeling a weight lifting off my shoulders. Years passed since my divorce from Gregory. He quickly moved on and married a so-called trophy wife within 2 years. His rapid replacement stung, but I was bolstered by Tyler's unwavering support. Tyler even boycotted the wedding, and surprisingly, so did many family members. Gregory was somewhat irritated by their absence, but he was too caught up in his new life to grasp the full extent of the rift he'd created. He knew Tyler stayed in contact with me, but was oblivious to the details of my life. To him, I was a chapter firmly closed, insignificant, and not worth considering. Despite the pain, my life flourished post-divorce. I completed my college degree in finance, leveraging my academic achievements and previous work experience to secure a managerial position at a prestigious bank. The job came with a respectable salary and was a vindication of my capabilities. Living well truly is the best revenge. My life reached new heights after leaving Gregory, proving that success and personal fulfillment could be the ultimate payback for the heartache he caused. My journey was a testament to resilience, empowerment, and the unexpected support that sometimes comes just when you need it most. Over time, I was able to repay Tyler for the college fund he set up for me. It took a while, but I kept my promise to myself and him. While my career and personal growth were on the rise, Gregory's life took a different trajectory. His business began to falter following a series of poor decisions and investments. To compound his problems, he extravagantly spent on a large wedding to flaunt his wealth, a financial move that proved imprudent as his business required more strategic financial management. Gregory was overly confident in his abilities as a businessman and took significant risks that ultimately backfired, draining his resources to maintain his lavish lifestyle. His company started to struggle significantly, and soon he was scrambling for capital to keep it afloat. Despite his efforts to secure loans, they were insufficient, and he found himself deep in debt with seemingly no way out. Ironically, when Gregory needed financial help the most, he turned to the bank where I worked. My loan officer brought Gregory's application to my attention, and as I reviewed the documents, a knowing smile crossed my face. That evening, I visited Tyler, and unexpectedly, Gregory also appeared. His surprise at seeing me quickly turned to disdain. Oh, I see you're trying to live off my dad now, Patricia. Fortune hunters are so predictable. You knew my dad had a soft spot for you, and now you're trying to take his money by acting all friendly, Gregory accused sharply. It's good to see you, Gregory, I replied calmly. I would provide some clarification for your accusations, but I simply don't wish to indulge your assumptions. Gregory then turned to Tyler. Dad, you must be naive to keep this woman in your life. You need to wise up before she starts asking you regularly to fund her lifestyle. God knows how much you've already given her. It was almost comical to hear Gregory say these things about me and warn his father to guard his finances, especially when it was clear to all of us that Gregory was the one in desperate need of money. Tyler laughed and shot back, "That's some intense projection, Gregory. Are you upset that I refused to help you out financially to save your business? Well, I did warn you years ago." Gregory, always too proud, retorted, "I'm sure he's forgotten it all, Tyler. He's always been so confident in himself. Looks like it has come to bite him back now. Instead of worrying about your money, you should focus on your own business more." "You don't know what you're talking about. A high school graduate can't humiliate me. My business is just facing some challenges. I'll make sure it comes out stronger. As for you, Dad, I don't need your money anymore. I've applied for a loan, and it will get approved soon." The entire situation was surreal, watching Gregory flounder in his missteps while accusing others. His attempt to diminish my achievements and Tyler's support only highlighted his insecurities and desperation. As I left that night, I knew that living well and achieving my goals was indeed the best form of vindication. Gregory left our presence in a burst of anger, hurling a final remark over his shoulder. "I won't have to see the faces of you two anymore. We'll see who has the last laugh." His words echoed with frustration, revealing just how deeply we had rattled him. He was struggling to cope with his anxiety and helplessness, yet his pride made him loath to admit that he was not above us. After he stormed out, Tyler and I couldn't help but laugh at the spectacle. That was quite the performance. I see my son is still a dramatic fool. Some things just don't change, do they? But tell me, Patricia, will you approve his loan and save his business? Tyler asked, though his tone suggested he already knew the answer. With a knowing smile, I simply nodded to Tyler, indicating that there was an interesting turn of events just around the corner. The following day, I finalized my decision regarding the loan. Gregory, appearing pale and worn, confronted me in my office soon after. "So you did get your degree, became the manager here, and you rejected my loan application?" he asked incredulously. "That's correct, Gregory. I'm sure you've received the official denial and the customary apology as well," I replied calmly. "I don't want an apology. I need that loan. You can't just reject my application because we're no longer together. I will sue you," Gregory threatened, his voice tinged with desperation. His accusation almost made me laugh. Gregory thought I would compromise my professionalism out of spite, but I had not ascended to my position by engaging in petty vendettas. "Gregory, go ahead and sue if you feel you must, but do you honestly think I'd waste my time and effort to sabotage you personally? You mean nothing to me. I did what any professional in my position would do," I stated clearly. "You rejected my loan on purpose. I have a significant business any bank would be eager to lend to me. You turned me down because I left you," he insisted, his voice rising with each word. "Gregory, you must be particularly deluded to think so. Everyone knows your business is struggling. The fact that your credit score is one of the lowest we've encountered recently also influenced my decision. Even my loan officers were surprised you thought we would approve such a large loan under those circumstances," I explained, keeping my tone even. Gregory's face flushed with anger, and it was clear that my words had hit home. He was unable to accept that his business woes were a result of his mismanagement, not a personal vendetta from me. As he left my office, flustered and defeated, I felt a sense of closure. While I had no interest in his downfall, standing my ground as a professional was a form of vindication, affirming that I had truly moved on and was living my best life, free from the shadows of our past. Gregory's face bore a hint of desperation that grew more evident by the minute. Initially, he looked as though he was about to hurl another accusation my way, but he hesitated, his demeanor shifting to something more pleading. "Look, whatever happened between us is in the past. You're in a position to help me now. Please just give me one chance. I need this loan," he implored. "Really, Gregory? I thought you were a competent businessman. At least that's what you've always claimed. How can one loan rejection make you so desperate?" I asked, genuinely curious about his drastic change in attitude. "There's no point in pretending anymore. You already know things are bad. Even Dad won't help me. This is my last shot," Gregory confessed, his voice filled with a mix of resignation and panic. "Well, that's unfortunate, Gregory. Maybe you should have focused more on managing your business instead of maintaining a picture-perfect life. Perhaps your wife could help. You always boasted about her being educated and wealthy," I suggested, though my tone was devoid of sympathy. "My wife won't help, Patricia. We're on the brink of divorce. She doesn't want to downgrade her life or be stuck with a failing businessman. I'm about to lose my business and my wife, Gregory admitted, his voice breaking slightly. That's too bad, Gregory. It seems karma does come back around, I remarked dryly. Gregory sat silently, shamefaced and downtrodden, his eyes fixed on the floor. I watched him, feeling a mix of vindication and detachment as he confronted the consequences of his choices. The meeting took an even more dramatic turn when he started to cry and begged for the loan approval. His display of desperation was overwhelming, and I found myself growing impatient. After several unsuccessful attempts to usher him out peacefully, I called security to escort him from my office. It was a deeply satisfying moment, feeling as though justice had finally been served. As days turned into weeks, karma continued to deal harsh blows to Gregory. He couldn't secure a loan anywhere and was forced to make his company public once again. In a desperate bid to settle his debts, he sold over 85% of his company shares, retaining a mere 15%. This presented an unexpected opportunity for me, a chance to dish out another cold serving of revenge. I purchased a significant portion of the company, ending up with more shares than Gregory himself. The next time I saw him at a shareholders' meeting, the shock on his face was indeed priceless. In the following months, he even attempted to reconcile, especially after his wife filed for divorce. However, by then, my life had moved on significantly, and there was no room left for old grievances or lost causes. Gregory found himself entirely cut off by his father, leaving him in a desperate position. He came to me, hoping for a chance to reclaim the life he once had, but needless to say, I had no interest in revisiting the past and firmly rejected his plea. It's been 3 years since then, and my life has taken a wonderfully positive turn. I'm thriving in ways I had only imagined and am now happily engaged, looking forward to a fall wedding in the coming year or 3. Tyler, who has been a steadfast support for me, remains a significant figure in my life. We continue to share a close bond, and he will be walking me down the aisle on my wedding day, a role we both cherish. As for Gregory, he and his father still aren't speaking. After his divorce, he struggled to maintain stable relationships. While he's managed to get his extravagant spending habits under control, he seems to be living a life marked by dissatisfaction. Despite his attempts to reconcile and beg for another chance with me, I've made it clear that there's no possibility of us ever getting back together.